How's it going, everyone? I am Russell Clay. We are here to talk about some kicker takes with Denny. Denny Carter is here at Twitter, CD Carter 13. And now that I have successfully just, uh, avoided the landmines through that intro, that was rough. But we got here. How's it going, Denny?
Not bad. I'm ready with my Christmas attire on, and ready to roll for championship week kicker takes.
Yes.
What's better than that, really?
Absolutely. Nothing better than your kicker deciding the championship of your fantasy season, in
Oh,
my
dude,
opinion.
I know, I know. Well, I mean, and then there's the flip side, which is last week I had Janikowski in most leagues, and even his 15 points couldn't save my soul. So it's,
Yeah, there were some big kicker weeks last week. I employed the start kicker X against the Jags, and that actually worked with Nick Novak, so I was pretty pleased.
I have to say, to toot my own horn for a second, and I think people on Twitter know that I'm not averse to that. Uh, I think every kicker I mentioned in last week's column did pretty well,
Yeah.
including the Minnesota kicker Forbath, who didn't make a field goal until the third quarter, I think, and people were on super tilt over that one, but he ended up with like 9 points. So
Novak wasn't right away either. He kind of just
Mhm.
slowly chipped away, and then by the third quarter, you're like, "Oh, hey, this is
I
working out."
I had somebody crushing me in the first quarter about Novak. I'm talking about
Yeah, he had zero through the first.
but I'm talking about 5 minutes into the first quarter. I'm getting tweets from this person saying, "Where's Novak? Oh, good call on Novak. Great, I
Oh
could have had
man.
so and so." I was like, "Wait a second, have the games even started yet? Why are you tilting?"
Yeah. There's different levels of Twitter, and like I've come to the point where I now like fake troll people with comments like that,
Right?
like through the first quarter. Like I think it's funny to,
Yeah.
fake troll people 5 minutes into the first quarter because it's so ridiculous that people actually do that. Like
I,
if you're
I,
listening, don't do that.
no, don't do that. And also, I know it might make you feel better in the moment to like go to your like local fantasy analyst and say, "Why did you recommend this guy?" But trust me, after the tilt has worn off and you have tilt
Mm,
hangover, it's gonna feel worse that you did that.
You're gonna go back and look and go, I should probably delete that. They
Yeah.
probably know. They probably remember it was me though.
A lot of them I go back and a lot of them are deleted by the next day. So you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But for the people that are just listening to enjoy, here you go, folks.
Yes.
So in terms of high priced plays for week 16, um, you sort of mentioned Matt Bryant for 60 or 5,200 against the Panthers. Um, Pretty interesting matchup as the Panthers horrible secondary should make the Falcons be able to pass, but they do
Mhm.
have that good run D.
Yes, and the Panthers defense overall has been much improved of late, and I think that Kirk Cousins owners can attest to that. Um, but Bryant, first of all, if he was priced at 6,200, I would say
I know, yeah.
I'd say you'd have to fade. You have to fade because that's tremendous. But 52 is still that's very high. I don't know if kickers get more expensive than that on FanDuel. I mentioned him in last week's column. He put up a really nice game. It's just that this Falcons offense is so conducive to kicker points because first of all, they every week, including this week, they have the first or second or maybe third highest implied total, and then they're a great passing offense, and also they're not great inside the red zone. So all of those factors combine for Bryant having a lot of opportunity, and he also happens to be good. So I mentioned 4 or 5 reasons to play him this week. Um, he's failed to score 9 points just twice in 2016. That in and of itself just shows his consistency. If you have a couple $100 laying around after you build your lineup, I would go ahead and throw him in.
Yeah, talk about a high floor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it right there. And I will take a moment to say we all appreciate your festive tie. Oh, are you there still? Oh, he's gone. He's gone black on us, folks. We will oh, he's probably gonna come back in a second. But to bide the time, um, we can look at his he talks about his golf swing. I believe he was a golfer back in the day. Uh, so we weren't gonna get into it, but now that we're back, I decided to push us into your golf swing analogies.
Yeah.
So if you want to run on
Yes.
that for a second or two.
So yes, what I did here in the column this week is I took three common types of golf shots. I used to play golf obsessively. Some of you might know that from age 16 to 23 or 4, I played it all the time and pretty much thought of little else. So I talked about the push shot, the banana hook, and what I call the short. And I think the short is a really funny comparison between field goal kicking and golf. Dan Bailey last week had a 56-yard attempt in the first quarter in the Sunday Night Football game. And, it looked for all the world like he crushed it. He got all of it. The ball was dead center. I mean, it would have just split the uprights in two, and it was short by at least 2 or 3 yards. Okay, but he stared it down. He kicked it, and if you see him, he just stared it down like oh, that's money. And I've done that. I think especially guys, and guys are so overcome with trying to hit their clubs at unreasonable lengths because power equals prestige on the golf course. And so it reminds me, and I talked about this in the column, where when I was younger, I used to try to hit a pitching wedge 160 yards because I saw Tiger Woods do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would hit a pitching wedge as hard and as perfectly as I could and just stare it down because it was right at the pin and everything was fine, except for it was 15 to 20 yards short.
And oh so my God. When me and my brother go golfing, this is like every approach shot for him. He, but it's either, 10 yards short or 15 yards past. And he always like makes that, there's always that silence, like like it's perfect. And he's like, come on, be the club. And it's never the club.
Yeah, right. You're just looking at it and you're like, be the one. And
it just lands in the sand trap.
Yeah, it just like plunks, and then you have a chip shot, and then you're gonna make or you're gonna make bogey at best. So that's a funny one. And then just to get one more, the push is fun because for kickers, actually Roberto Aguayo seemed to be doing this early in the season where he looked like he was just spinning out of his kick, I'm just breaking down kicker technique right now, but where he would just like flail at the ball and the ball would shoot right. It's not that the ball would fade, it didn't have like a weird spin on it going right. It just started right and stayed right. And I think we've all hit that golf shot before.
We have. And, if you haven't played golf, you keep coming back for that one or two really good shots you hit around, but mostly, you got to have fun with the pain, I think.
Yeah. And I used to be pretty good at, I know this sounds funny, but of punching, I got good at punching out of the woods.
Yeah.
And to the point where I kind of look forward to
the long walks to the woods
to having a shot where you would have to hit like a nasty slice around a tree to get back into the fairway. And I could do that. You line it up on the back of your foot, you open your 3-iron a little bit and you just punch down and that thing will come off with just a disgusting slice, but it works out of the woods. I don't know where I was going with that, except to say that I love punch shots out of the woods.
Jesus. All right. Well, we're going to have to put that, as the quote when we throw the pod out there.
Yeah.
So the other pricey play you mentioned, Sebastian Janikowski
Yeah,
against the Colts, 5K. Really interesting game, actually, from a passing yards and just really good fantasy matchup, in my opinion. So why not like Janikowski?
man. Last week he was Janikowski. This week he is also Janikowski.
Mm.
He, just everything. I can't think of a better kicker matchup this whole season than this one. Janikowski is in the, I think, top 4 in field goal attempts this season. Yeah, 4th in field goal tries. And the Colts allow 2.6 field goal attempts per game. Oakland has a 28-point implied Vegas total. Um, and he's not even the highest price kicker on the slate. So if, Matt Bryant's tough to get in. I might just be more bullish in general on Janikowski this week. I really like him.
Yeah, and there's no fear for the Raiders of lining up a 55-yarder. They're never punting there. They're always firing him out there. So
Exactly. Yeah, that is a good point. And Janikowski has been pretty consistent this year as well. And again, we have an offense like we've talked about that passes quite a bit and is successful through the air, and that makes sense. That makes sense here.
absolutely. Low price plays. So, we started out the year on a rough beginning, and we're ending fairly consistently with Robert Aguayo, 4,500,
Mm-hmm.
against the Saints team. I think we're all looking at sort of a rebound fantasy performance from this game. So,
Yeah.
what are you looking at?
Yeah, Aguayo is 17th in field goal attempts, which is, like I said in the column, is not exactly a hateful rank considering that the team was basically avoiding him at any cost through parts of the early season. New Orleans gives up 2.4 field goal attempts per game. Only Jacksonville has given up more kicker fantasy points this season than the Saints. I think that that's just kind of a simple way of looking at it. I know, but it's not. We shouldn't write it off. 11 of 14 kickers have finished with at least 8 fantasy points against New Orleans, including Aguayo. Aguayo had a very nice 11-point outing against the Saints in Week 14, just 2 weeks ago. I think that if you have to go low in kicker price this week, by the way, I didn't find any mid-priced kickers who had really solid matchups. So mid-priced for me is kind of a no-go for Week 16. But Aguayo is my favored low price kicker for this week.
I like it. And here's the one that I've kind of the sort of theory behind it I've kind of jumped on,
Mm-hmm.
which is Kicker X versus the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can get him at min price, I mean, it's even better. So Ryan Suckup of the Titans. What are you looking at here?
Well, so the one warning, the reason I'm going Aguayo over Suckup if you're going minimum priced
Mm-hmm.
is because Suckup is 28th in field goal attempts this year, which that's a little scary. And we've talking about kickers this season, we've been bitten by Suckup just not having opportunity in games where the Titans get down by a lot, especially. The good news is that Suckup has averaged 1.9 field goal tries per game in Titans wins this year, and the Titans come into this game as a 4-point favorite. In Titans losses, he averages 0.8 attempts per game, which is just like stunningly low. Truly, I am stunned. And but I think he's a nice floor play. I'm not sure if he's this great, ceiling guy. I don't think I'll be focusing on him in tournaments, let's just say. And so Aguayo is my minimum price guy, but Suckup's not bad either.
So if he scores under 15, I can only get like really mad at you. I can't like block you. I can just get mad, right?
Russell, you can always block me.
Is there anything else you want to throw out there before we head out for the week?
Just good luck to everybody in championship week. I just remember this with kickers and every other position, all you can do is make the best decisions based on the information you have. and on Sunday night or Saturday night or whenever your game is decided, and something freakish happens on the field that affects your team in a negative way, just remember that you had no control over it, and that'll save your sanity for at least a few weeks.
I think that's good advice for championship week, because it seems like every week 16 there's some, fourth string former practice squad running back that usually makes you lose. So
Yeah, yes.
just remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I don't want to hear any complaints. If kickers decide matchups, no complaints. Kickers are fantasy assets, and
Mm-hmm.
we can project them just like other positions, maybe not quite as accurately, but just remember that tight end and defense are the real enemies, not kicker.
Tight end is the real enemy,
It is.
especially after this year. I'm done. I'm
Doug,
out.
do away with tight ends,
Yeah, I'd like that format actually.
please.
As always, you can find Danny on Twitter at cdcarter13. If you want to read this article, head over to dailyfantasycafe.com and check that out for sure. As always, if you like these videos, give us a like and subscribe. And I think that's all the plugging I'm going to do for now. We will see you guys next week, and good luck.